they've announced their autumn schedule, if you like, for the UK. I think the thing that's caused the most conversation from that is the quick turnaround in Dillian Whyte's rematch with Alexander Povetkin. And you've had some views on that previously. What do you make? Apparently, it's 91 days between first fight and that heavy knockout and the rematch.
You know, to say how it is. I don't think if it was me, if I was managing Dillian Whyte, I wouldn't do that. I would wait. You know, after he needs a rest. It wasn't like it was it's not like Dex Spellman complaining about getting stopped. You know, he got stopped. He was stopped on his feet, but he was stopped. He was concussed. He was out cold. He was given oxygen. So, you know, if it was me, it's not something I'll be doing, but it's not me. That's their choice. And, you know, Dillian knows the boxing board controller are aware of the situation, so that's between all of them to make that decision where they're going. But for me, I wouldn't be doing it. And if you want a proper, comment on it and who should know, best probably ask the doctor rather than me what they feel about it.
What did you make? And this is something Colt.
Those are the words of Frank Warren as he states that Dillian Whyte's being rushed into this fight. It's not enough time between his massive knockout of Alexander Povetkin and the next fight, the rematch. And he stated, hey, if he was my fighter, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't do it, but I'm not. That's not my fighter. So I think the best person you could ask is someone with an MD, okay? And a medical doctor could probably answer that question better than I can, but I wouldn't do it because he was concussed. He was knocked out cold. They gave him oxygen, okay? And it's just too early. He needs to rest. He needs to take time from that concussive knockout, and he needs to restart again. Now, I can agree with some of that because that's one of the downfalls of being knocked out cold, to see if you're all the way there still. There could be twitches, other things that could bother you when it comes to getting knocked out like that. Okay? A lot of times I feel a fighter should really go see a neurologist when they get hit and knocked out like Dillian Whyte got knocked out. Sure, he was up a minute or two, and he was walking around and he asked for the rematch right away, and the competitive nature of Dillian Whyte is just being Whyte, but there is a such thing as stopping a fighter from themselves. And it was a good question asked from Frank Warren, and he gives his perspective, and I'll always want to hear other people's side and what their opinions would be if they were managing these type of fighters, because you remember Frank Warren has said this many times before about Dillian Whyte or other fighters that were from other promotional companies and what he would do. I think honestly it's not a bad idea for Dillian Whyte to sit down. However, he doesn't have a choice, okay? You make a bed, you lie in it, okay? Or, you mess a bed up, you make it up. However you want to look at it, I think Dillian Whyte's in that situation because he's been too far and he's gone too far to just go back now. That goes against his counterproductive towards the things that he's been doing for the last 3-4 years. Honestly, from the last loss, he's been trying to get where he needs to be, and he's been shitted on left and right, honestly. And a lot of opportunities that he's supposed to have, he didn't really have. So he's a guy, he has to fight. And when he got tired, he fought some more. So I think that's Dillian Whyte, and I think he's trying to get that position back. And he's looking at that like, Leo, I won't let this stop me. I won't let this break me. I won't let this be the the end of Dillian Whyte, or the end of the growth of Dillian Whyte. Because had Dillian Whyte do what Frank Warren recommended, okay, and I'll talk about Frank Warren's agenda in a second, but if he would have done that, what would people thought? Dillian Whyte fell off. Dillian Whyte's not the same guy that he used to be. That knockout did a lot of something. That knockout scared him. They're going to call him everything. Those excuses are going to come. And when rumors form, you know what happens to a fighter's reputation? The fighter's reputation does this. Okay? The only thing a fighter can do is fight. Sure, a fighter can also promote himself, but his primary job is fighting. Okay? So let's look at it this way. If Dillian Whyte would have done that also, they would have compared him to who? Anthony Joshua. Same promotional company. Also with Matchroom, right? And what did Anthony Joshua do? He got beat up. He got stopped. You know, Whyte got knocked out. They both lost. But what did he do? He went right back in there and avenged his loss. So we shouldn't expect anything different from Dillian Whyte at all. So maybe, you know, on the for safety reasons, yeah, it's a good idea to take a soft touch, but no. For business reasons, absolutely not. For reputation reasons, absolutely not. He should get in there and fight Povetkin again. If he gets knocked out, at least he died trying. Okay? Now, as far as Frank Warren goes, there may be a reason why he's saying that. Of course, you know, he was the guy that had a problem with Dillian Whyte. Him, Bob Arum, and Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. He was that guy that could possibly be a monkey in the wrench. Okay? He was that guy. So, and he also wants Dillian Whyte, of course, to fight his up-and-coming star, Daniel Dubois. Okay, so we can't forget that, and can't forget the reason why Frank Warren would want him to step aside and let Povetkin do what the hell Povetkin's going to do, and let Dillian Whyte stay stagnant for a while for the sake of health. Okay, he might not give a shit about Dillian Whyte's health, but that would benefit him. You know, you speak it, believe it, and receive it. So something that you want to happen, that's what you're going to speak on, right? That's what Frank Warren's doing. Frank Warren's like, oh, I would tell him to get some rest, you know. Right? But, excuse me, dang. I do feel that Frank Warren is saying that because he wants to set his fighter aside for Daniel Dubois. And that fight could be easily made if he can sit down with Eddie Hearn. You know, these guys are supposed to sit down soon. So if he can talk him into that, I can understand why he's saying these type of things. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Frank Warren's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.